everybody, welcome back to my channel. Hello, good morning, vlogsters. What do we have for coffee this morning? Oh, we've got Jim's cup, which is losing all of its plastic. It's losing all of its beautiful camouflage. I guess it did it in the dishwasher. Let's take the first sip. Oh, look, a Yeti. That is good. Yesterday, I didn't have hot coffee because the night before last Sunday, my husband surprised me with some Starbucks. He went out to do some shopping and pick up some groceries and just get out of the house for a little while. And he called me and said, "You want Starbucks? Place the order and I'll go pick it up." And I was like, yes. So I ended up getting a cold brew, which I normally get my regular cold brew with, well, it used to be sugar-free cinnamon dulce. I found out why they're downsizing their sugar-free syrups, because they're made with Splenda and they don't want to use Splenda anymore. Now, though I appreciate that, your Starbucks, can you not make syrup with something else? There's erythritol, there's stevia, there's, like, if you want to keep it totally natural, make your syrups with stevia or carry syrups with stevia. Your Starbucks. You really have to cater better. Or like Dunkin' Donuts, and I'm sorry if they're your competitor, their syrups aren't sweetened. So basically, when you go to Dunkin' Donuts, all of their flavor enhancers, or most of their flavor enhancers, sometimes they come out with like special ones that are like for when they do Girl Scout cookies or the ice cream flavors. Sometimes they do like a Baskin Robbins flavors. Some of those are pre-sweetened, but most of their regular flavors aren't. And then you add sweetener to it. You add whatever, stevia or whatever. So why doesn't Starbucks just do that? Like, they could keep a simple syrup for people who want like liquid sugar. So I know that they have it because some people just have liquid sugar. Like, they don't want flavors. They just want sugar. So like, why can't you have unsweetened vanilla? Like, all of your flavors, unsweetened pumpkin spice, unsweetened Starbucks, if you're listening, please. And then just add stevia to the people who want stevia and add the liquid syrup sugar to the people who want that. And this way would be even better, because some people like the flavors, but not all the sweetness. So like for example, Lisa likes a 10 pump chai, which means she gets 10 pumps of the chai flavored syrup, which makes it sweet, but it also makes it really strong chai flavored. So like, if you like the really strong chai flavor, but you don't like it that sweet, you'd be able to customize it that way. And the same thing with Jim. Jim doesn't like it as sweet, or Jim doesn't like it as chai, but he would like it more sweet. So like, he only gets like a 7 pump, whatever. I'm just giving an example. So Starbucks, if you're listening, hi, my name is Jeri-Ann. I have this great piece of advice. Make all of your flavored syrups unsweetened. And then let people customize their sweetness to the flavor. Because let me tell you something. Since I've been diagnosed as type 2 diabetic, I'm not pumpkin spice at your store. I can't have that. I can't have peppermint mocha. They used to have sugar-free mocha, then they stopped, and now it's just vanilla. And I'm sure they're going to take that out too, because the vanilla has Splenda in it. And then where are we going to be? So make your syrups unsweetened and let the people customize their own sweetness. I know it's hard because at this point you already have formulas, but your baristas know so much. I think we could teach them one more thing. If people just want like what they used to order, a 10 pump chai, you put in 10 pumps of syrup, 10 pumps of chai, there you go. Or whatever, however it works for you. I don't care. 5 pumps of chai, 5 pumps, whatever. Anyhow, I digress. But for those of us who need to customize it, I appreciate it. So this pumpkin spice is sugar-free. It has got Splenda in it. Splenda does not like fibromyalgia, or vice versa. So I limit how much I intake during the day. I usually just have it in my coffee creamer, and about, I don't know, once or twice a month, I have like a soda and like and or like unsweet tea with Splenda in it. Like if I go to certain restaurants that don't have Coke Zero, they just have unsweet tea. So because I truly am not a fan of Diet Coke, and I know my sister-in-law is in love with Diet Coke, but I am totally not a fan of Diet Coke. I think it has a very flat aftertasty sort of situation. Not dissing on the Diet Coke for those of you who love it. Anyhow, good morning. It has been a really good couple of days after a really bunch of turmoil couple of days. But I was able to do some comments with Jim last night. He was able to read me some, or he would read me the short ones, and this way I would only have to like screenshot and zoom in the long ones. And I was able to respond with him, and it was so, gosh, I love connecting with you guys. And let me tell you, I had a lot of people be like really not nice, and I was sassy. I got my sassy pants on yesterday because, you know, it's kind of funny. I have a lot of patience normally. Of course, when a situation arises that takes all my patience away, I no longer have patience. But I'll tell you this one thing I never really had patience for, and that's people who are not nice. And it's really funny because I had a comment yesterday that when Jimmy read it to me, he read it with inflection, or was reading it, he read it with inflection to himself. And he was like, I think you want to read this one. And I read it, and I told you this, guys, before. I don't put inflection in text messages or comments. The only time I put inflection is if something's in capitals, because that means that's like, you know, you're stating that point. Like if always is in capitals, you want to be like always, as opposed to just like always. Do you always do that, or do you always do that? You know, like that's the difference. But most part, I just don't put inflection, like, because that's me reading something into them, what their statement is. And I try to always do it with neutrality and kindness. You know, like I would want people to read my messages. No sarcasm. So I had this really long message yesterday, and I said, you know what? This was it. So this person had differences of opinion. They had different treatment course ideas or different experiences, and they just presented it so kindly. They just presented it in a way where, you know, it was just not sarcastic. It was not rude. It was not name calling. It was not harsh or hateful. It was what I've mentioned before, what I consider the tough love type of thing. You know, it's not, I don't delete all the tough love. I just, when people are nasty. And it's what my opinion is of people being nasty. If you didn't intend it to be nasty, but it came across as nasty because of you used capitals or you used punctuation or whatever, how you did it, then that's for me. Like, that's on me, and that's it. But ultimately, I've said this before, it's my channel to do with as I want. I can keep off whoever I want to keep off for at least the time that I can until they create a new account and get back on. I can, you know, suspend people and from watching, not from watching, but from commenting from time to time. You know, it's for me to do with. It's for me to do with as I please. And I create the room. It's my room. It's my environment. Imagine that my channel is like I was going to say like an auction house, but that's stupid. But say it's like a study group. Say my channel is a study group. I can decide who comes into the study group and is allowed to participate, as opposed to just people who can come in and observe. I mean, that's the best way that I can say it. Or a college class. Like, if you don't pay for the college class, because you don't have to pay to comment on my channel. But yeah, I guess you have to pay with respect. And that's the word that kept coming up in my head yesterday. Is I said like tough love, or I say like with sympathy or whatever, but it's really with respect. I feel like I have been so completely disrespected in the last couple of weeks that it really needs to stop. And that's why I got sassy yesterday. I actually had somebody come back and comment that they were going to comment on, no, they noticed the comment was taken down. And I've never kept it a secret that if you are going to be rude and disrespectful, then you can go, and I will send you going. I will hide your ability to make comments. And what that does is it takes your comment away. But here's what I do. I respond first. Because if the person has their notifications turned on and they have their email notifications turned on, they will see my response in their email, and then they're the only ones who will see it, because then it'll disappear. So I did use a cuss word yesterday. Actually, I didn't use did I use a cuss word? Or I did the WTF. And then somebody was like, and her foul mouth. Please, sister. This is a rated G kind of a channel. Because if I wanted to use my foul mouth, oh yeah, I could. And I have before. And I'm not trying to be like boastful of it. But, you know, I've said this before. And if you haven't heard this story before, I'm sorry. If you have, I mean, if here it is. If you have, I'm sorry. But when I worked in the police department for that short period of time, one of the officers came down to meet me and say hi to everybody. And he used a foul word. And he was like, he cursed or whatever. And he was like, I'm sorry if you're not, I said, oh no, I'm from New York. They teach us how to curse in kindergarten. And he looked at me like, what? And I was like, no, I was really kidding. They don't. I just meant I've been around it a lot. My father was in construction. My brother was a police officer in the city, and my mom worked at a bar. So, yeah, I think I've been around cursing my It is funny because mostly working for AHRC, I've learned to curb it unless I actually hurt myself. Like yesterday, Jimmy was like in the kitchen and I sneezed and hurt my hip so bad, just sneezing. I screamed because it hurt so. It hurt like the first time I heard it. And it hurt so bad, I screamed and he came running. And I was like, cursed it, because it hurt. And he came running in. He's like, oh my God, are you okay? And I was like, honestly, that freaking hurt. Except they didn't use the word freaking. But working at AHRC, you learn to curb, you don't curse as much. Even for exclamatory reasons. Like, that's why I do Jiminy Crickets so much. Cheese and rice and whatever I have to say. So, but living with my mother-in-law, she doesn't appreciate it. She was raised where her mother told her that it's classless. People who curse have no class and it shows a lack of education. And I actually said to her one time, I'm like, actually, Mom, I'm more educated because I have a larger vocabulary and I know how to use all of those words in the different ways of language. Like the F curse. The F curse could be a verb, could be an adjective, could be an adverb, could be an exclamation, like it could be on, all these different parts of speech. So I'm kidding, but yeah. What was I going to say? So I just thought it was funny, like that, that one time a word slips out or I have to use a word, I get called on it. And I'm like, whatever. It really doesn't bother me. Like, you could say what you really, I sound like a broken record. And people think because I address it, that I'm addressing it because it bothers me. But once again, I address it for those individuals who come to my channel for camaraderie and a safe space and a place to find somebody who's got similar situations going on in their life. And I comment and reply and block for them. Because you can bully me all you want. I've got thick skin. I've had it my whole life. But you will not bully me at the expense of someone else. So, that being said, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update of what's going on. So it's a little early now to call the doctor's office. They don't open for another hour. So I figured I'd come on a vlog before I have to call. Because again, talking to you, look at this hair. I feel like Bruno Mars sometimes. Talking to you makes it feel better. I've mentioned that before. Talking to you guys makes it feel better. So there is some miscommunication between my husband. And this isn't a complaint, guys. I don't complain about my husband. And if I did, my prerogative. I love him. He does so much for me, but I can still have enough self-worth to complain about sometimes the way he treats me. That's my prerogative. That's my life. That's my life to do it. Doesn't mean I don't appreciate what he does for me or appreciate him as a whole. But if your husband buys you diamonds and furs coats, but still smacks you across the face, I think you should be grateful for the diamonds and not grateful for the smack across the face. And I'm not comparing Jim to being an abusive husband. I'm just talking about how a person is treated. So if I feel like I want to come on here and complain about my husband, I 100% can. Because if you guys think he's a saint and then someone else's husband doesn't do the same or does the same but doesn't feel like a saint, this is why I am honest. This is why, regardless of how you feel like if I'm lying to you, this is why I'm honest about it. And this is why I do share. People are like, well, stop sharing your life. No. It's my life to do with as I please, and I will share it. If you don't like it, you will either get hidden or you can go watch someone else's channel that you like. Okay? But Jim and I do have a miscommunication a lot. He is neurodivergent. I am trying to be patient. I've tried to learn. I actually blame myself more than I blame him because in 20 years, I'm thinking, why can't I communicate with him after 20 years? But I realize as he gets older, the ADHD is changing. And with different medications, the ADHD is changing. So I blame myself for not catching up to it type of thing as he gets older. But that's beside the point. I'm just learning to deal with it. I'm not complaining that he has ADHD. I'm not complaining that he doesn't hear me when I talk. I can tell you that it's frustrating to me, but that's what it is when living with somebody with neurodivergency, because it can get frustrating at times because you forget how you have to communicate. And then what I do find is it's affecting how I communicate with other people. Like it's kind of odd. And when I worked at the agency, when I worked at AHRC, I found that sometimes I was communicating with people like with him, that I would communicate with the individuals, which of course then I realized what is that? Oh, it's just a white block. Then I learned that wasn't something to do. That was something I needed to consciously stop from doing. So, I realized talking to him, like I was watching his vlog from yesterday, he said to me, maybe you should start watching my videos. And I said, if you want me to, that's fine. I said, I will, I obviously always to support. But I told him I'll watch them while you're at work. So it started when he worked at Taco Bell, when he was working at nights, and I was starting to get really lonely, but it really hit home when he was working at Casey's, because that's when he started to vlog pretty much every day. And he was at Casey's for like 9+ hours a night, and I would just miss him. So I would just like put on the video, play like solitaire, and listen to Jim talking. But then he said there's some things he was going to talk about that I didn't have to watch if I didn't want to, and that kind of thing. So I just didn't and the more that he was home, all that time that he was home, he was, you don't have to watch, and he was home, so I didn't miss him, that kind of thing. So anyway, I was watching his vlog from yesterday. I started, and then my timer went off, so I paused it, and I'll finish it later. He was saying how he, this whole conversation that we have with the commodes, and we didn't have that whole conversation with the commodes. So I do want to talk to him about it when he gets home, but it's stuff like that where I think it's just a miscommunication. I don't know if he said, if are you going to start to try to go to the bathroom in the bathroom? And I was like, well, you remember from before I got the commode, the toilet's too low. And he's like, well, we could put the commode over it. And I was like, well, we could do that. But then if I can't do that, then if I can't make it to the bathroom, then what am I going to do? And that's where the whole conversation went. So it wasn't like extra conversation that he had. And it's not that he's intentionally making up a story. I think what he's thinking is conversation he wanted to have. A lot of times with Jim, he has a thought that he wants to get out. And if you know how you have a conversation with somebody where you say something, they react, respond, you react, respond, they say something, like back and forth. With Jim, he has to say everything he needs to say. Again, not a complaint, just talking to you. He has to say everything he wants to say, or else he doesn't kind of listen to you when you're talking. Like, he hears it, but he doesn't absorb it almost. So you have to like let him get his piece out. But I don't always know when there's more. That's the thing. So I think that part of what he told you guys was actually the conversation he wanted to have with me. But when I told him that I didn't think this would work, what was I going to do here? That was the end of that conversation because he didn't have an answer for it, but he still wanted to have that rest of that conversation. So I'm not saying like he's intentionally telling stories or he's intentionally lying. It's just that I think that the way we communicate is very different. We try so desperately to have conversations that are both-sided. It's hard for him, and again, there aren't complaints. It is hard for him being neurodivergent, that he can't really do that back and forth. It's like he has to say all of his piece, and then I have to say all of my piece, except while I'm saying my piece, he has to jump in and say his piece. And that's okay. That's one of the things we've learned. Like, I have to try to remember what I was going to say, which is difficult as you get older. But I have to try to remember all my points, because I know that when I make my first point, he's going to interject. And when I make my second point, he's going to interject, and so on and so forth. I don't always remember. In fact, yesterday I kind of forgot a whole thing that I wanted to talk about, and I still didn't remember. I still don't remember what it was. Like, and not that it wasn't important, because obviously I wanted to talk about it. It was somewhat important. But I think it was more like I wanted to, like, it was more complimentary than something that I needed to say, and I can't remember what it was. Coffee's good today. Coffee's good today. I'm liking coffee today. Today, coffee's my friend. Yesterday, he was wonderful. I mean, it was his day off because it was Labor Day, and he did this whole meal prep for me for the week. He made sausage and peppers. He made hard-boiled eggs. He bought salad. So I basically have like meal prep for the week. I want to tell you guys, I don't know if you've been watching his food hauls, but I got those Egg Life wraps, and those are stupendous. Now, I love flour tortillas. I love corn tortillas. But flour tortillas are like burritos and all those things. I can't have them anymore. The wheat is just killing me, especially now. Excuse me. It's just every time I have wheat, even just like a chicken nugget, I'm like, you can feel it. Onion rings. I could just feel it. It's so weird. It is so weird. All these years that I was like, oh, I'm on all this pain. I didn't know. Forgive me. Forgive me for not knowing. So try it. If you're a person who has arthritis and or fibromyalgia even, and you're having a lot of difficulty with pain, try going gluten-free. And I don't mean you have to be like, buy gluten-free bread. Try living breadless. Try using corn tortillas. Try like eating rice with things. Or if you're not diabetic, you can have potatoes with things. Like, try to just go gluten-free for a little bit. Don't go overboard, because my sister ate gluten-free for a lot of years, and she ended up getting like a pre-diabetic blood work from her doctor because of the amount of potatoes and potato starch and rice and stuff that she was eating, type of thing. So a lot of the gluten-free pastas are brown rice, which is better for you than white rice, or better for me anyway with my blood sugar. I can do brown rice way better. Now, those aren't keto, so if you're doing like a zero carb situation, obviously that's not something you want to do, but that's just if you want to go gluten-free. Now, for those of you who know, I don't do keto to get into ketosis to lose weight, or I wasn't doing that anyway. I would do keto to just, or eat keto foods just to keep my blood sugar low so that I don't go blind. However, once a week I do carbs on one day. It's usually Sunday. It used to be Saturday, but now Jim's got a regular different schedule. When Jim was not working, Sunday would be our day off from like the housework we were doing, projects. And I realized that having Sunday be, this was before I realized about the gluten, having Sunday be carb day, where I was having actually gluten day, it was ruining my Monday because Monday was when I would feel the effects. So I made Saturday the gluten day, and then I would take off on Sunday and be able to like be in pain, but like not have to work around the house and be better by Monday. But now it's, now that it's gluten-free, we just do like Sunday can be carb day. So if we have like, you know, we're going to have something with pasta. Jimmy makes chili mac and he makes it with gluten-free macaroni and cheese now, which is really good. So anywho, I know it is more expensive, but I don't think it's so much more expensive. Here's why. I feel that, and maybe because it's rice, I feel that gluten-free pasta is way more filling than regular pasta. I do. I'm not sure if it is, that's why, if it's because it's brown rice. But it is way more filling to me. So we don't eat as much at the, you know, like we don't eat as much. When, you know, we would sit down, three of us would sit down and we would have like, you know, the whole time I was diabetic. So obviously if it was whole wheat pasta, the three of us would make, we'd make a half a pound of pasta for the three of us to have. And there may or may not be leftovers depending on what the dish was. But a lot of times there wasn't, just like a half a pound of pasta for three people. Now it's like quarter pound of pasta for three people. And I know that I'm not eating as much, but it's just that much more filling. And there's usually leftovers. So, I find that, I don't know if it's true for you, but I find that to be very true. So it is more expensive, but I find that we eat a lot less of it and it lasts a lot longer. So keep that in mind. Let's see. What were we talking about before we get on gluten-free pasta? Oh, the meal prep. So, excuse me, I'm kind of excited about that. It's funny because he made hot dogs, and yesterday, because I didn't do carbs on Sunday, we wanted to have like Labor Day food, but Jimmy doesn't like to use the barbecue. So he was going to make hamburgers and hot dogs in the house, but then Mom said she wasn't really hungry. So I was like, just make the hot dogs then, you know? So we had hot dogs and he made French fries in the air fryer, and he bought me sweet potato waffle fries. He found them at Aldi. And ladies and gentlemen, oh my goodness. Even he goes, I know they weren't crispy because they were would have had to be longer than Mom's. And I was like, he's like, but even not crispy, weren't they delicious? And I was like, oh my gosh, they were so good. I thought it was just me. And he's like, no. And they tasted like they had cinnamon butter on them. I'm like, I hope not. I mean, cinnamon, okay. Butter okay too, but cinnamon sugar. Oh, that's what he said. He said cinnamon sugar. It tastes like that cinnamon sugar. And I'm like, I hope not. And he's like, no. He goes, you know, they don't, but they tasted like it. And I was like, I think that all of these times he's had sweet potatoes at restaurants, he's put the cinnamon brown sugar butter situation on his sweet potato. And I think he always thought that the sweetness came from the brown sugar. But the sweetness, it's called a sweet potato. It's sweet. It's sweet tasting. It caramelizes, especially if you bake it long enough. It just, butter's great. If you want butter, no. You Want cinnamon? Cinnamon's great. You don't want cinnamon now? That's fine. You don't have to. It doesn't always need it. I mean, of course, depending on the sweet potato, if it was not picked right. It's hard to pick sweet potatoes for ripeness kind of thing. It's not like, it's not the kind of fruit or a vegetable that you can actually, like, tell, really. Some you can, for sure, but some that you think it's not going to be sweet, and then it's like, whoa. I did ask him to try pumpkin spice with caramel macchiato. We never got to that yet. Oh, so anyway, oh my goodness, that's a long story short, huh? Starbucks. Back to Starbucks. This is how me and Lisa have a conversation. So back to Starbucks. So he got Starbucks, and he got me the thing that I always get, the sugar-free vanilla cold brew, sweet cream cold brew. The sweet cream you can ask to be made with sugar-free vanilla. You can't order it that way on the app, though. So I looked, and it's not that much. I think it's 1 pump of vanilla goes into the sweet cream cold foam. But if I order it on the app, I just get cold foam on top, and I get sugar-free vanilla syrup, cold foam on top. And it was so sweet. It's supposed to have the same 7 pumps of sugar-free. It was so sweet that on Sunday I only drank half of it. And I was like, can we save this for tomorrow and just add some regular cold brew to it? And he's like, sure. So that's what I ended up having yesterday. So no hot coffee yesterday. That was how the story began ages ago. See, that train of thought left me at the station, but it came back around. I got the express. There's no express train of thoughts in my brain. Oh, goodness. Morning doves. Coo, coo, coo. Can you hear? Probably not. I know you guys said my earbud doesn't help, but I always thought it did, so I used it. But now I'm not, because you said it doesn't, so all right. What else? We also did something a little different. The Dollar Tree sells those round Christmas and Valentine's Day buckets. They're red, they're solid, and they have a flat bottom with like 2 handles on the side. I asked Jim to switch that with me when I drink give me one, because when I drink my coffee on the bed, twice so far it's spilled. So I said, if I can balance it in there instead of on the iPad, if it spills, it'll spill in the bucket. So I have that over there. That's one thing that's changed differently. Oh, duh. Why don't I just do that? So do you see that bucket? You see it? I don't even know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. So I put like snacks in there that I can bring over to the other side when I want to lay over there. This morning I was laying there. Yeah, I lay there for the first hour and a half or 2 hours from like 5. Really, I lay there from like 5. I go over there at 5. Usually it takes me about 15 minutes to get into position without hurting myself first thing in the morning, because my body is used to laying on its stomach. And then I roll over and lay on that side, and it takes a few minutes. So like from 5:15 to 7 o'clock, I lay over there. Now, people are very concerned about me and my health and laying in bed. So I would like to just relieve some of that, if that's okay, if I can. I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you the facts. These aren't opinions. These are what's happening. First of all, I don't just sit up on the edge of the bed once a day for 6 minutes. I do it several times a day. I'm actually up to more like 10 minutes. And that was another thing that Jimmy spoke of in his thing. He said, I think I saw her for like up to 10 minutes one time, but I actually sat for about, technically it was like 12 minutes. I folded the laundry the other day. However, I realized I should have stopped at 10, because then it took a while to recover from that. So I folded the laundry the other day, which I'm surprised he hasn't told you guys about. You're always getting on me like he's taking care of me and doing everything, and he's trying to be more encouraging for my healing process. So I was just surprised he didn't tell you that. I actually had intended to sit up and do morning meds that particular morning. This was on Sunday morning, but Saturday I had we did like an extra kind of workout, like something different. And it felt really good at the time, like to stretch I haven't stretched the hip since I got the knee diagnosis, which has been like a month. So, and that's my right hip. I lift it myself, but I don't hyperextend it. Basically, I used to have Jimmy push on it and pull it to make it like feel better. He doesn't want to pull on it. He like basically pull on my foot. He doesn't want to pull on my foot because of what's happening in my femur and my knee, and that's fine. But to get behind my thigh and help me extend my hip is, one of the things. So we ended up doing that on Saturday, and Sunday I just was like, I don't know if I could sit up for very long at all. So I ended up not doing morning meds, but I ended up folding all the laundry. So I let the day go by a little bit, and I said, I'm going to try the laundry. So the first time I sat out to try the laundry, I think I got like 2 nightgowns and a shirt and like some socks out of the basket. And I was like, oh no. Why don't we wait till about a half an hour after meds? So that's what I ended up doing. It was about a half an hour after I took my gabapentin, and I was like, okay, now I can go ahead and try to do this again. And then I ended up sitting up for, like I said, 12 minutes to get all the laundry folded. And I think that might have been like 2 minutes too long. So, but it's okay. Next week, I'm sure I'll be back to sitting up and doing morning meds, and then obviously doing laundry too. So I did try to encourage him to, like, if we could do, because we do morning meds on Sunday. Basically, we do them after morning meds. I mean, I said morning meds, but we do meds. I fill up the comblers after Sunday morning meds. So it starts like Saturday nights. Sunday night's the first dose we take. But I was like, if we could either switch the meds or the laundry, that would be good for now until I know what's going on. And I was like, maybe so I can fold one day and do meds the next day. And he's like, listen, just do what you can. We'll do what he would rather help out or do more himself than to switch it. Like his routine would throw off too much. And I was like, you're right, because I don't know how much longer this situation is happening. So a lot of people had concerns about me laying here. So again, I don't lay here for 24/7. I do sit up for 8 to 10 minutes several times a day. I do it first thing in the morning. I do stretches. I brush my hair. I take my morning well, not my morning meds, but my first 5, like the 7 o'clock doses, the 7 o'clock meds, not my first 5 o'clock in the morning dose, because I'm not getting up then. Some days I just want to go back to sleep, but the poor guy's got to go to work, so I try to encourage myself to stay up. Just to support. So like when I take my 7 o'clock meds before I vlog, even I'll sit up. I shared this with you guys one time. So I'll sit up, I'll brush my hair, possibly drink my shake if I'm in the mood, if I'm hungry. Eat like a bar or peanut butter or whatever if I'm hungry. If I'm hungry, if I feel like the meds need it. And do my like morning, like wash my face with the wipes or whatever and that kind of thing. And it's usually about 10 minutes. And I go to the bathroom, and then I come lay down and get myself to settle a few minutes before I turn the camera on. And then I do it. Lay here for a couple hours. I'll sit up. I'll go to the bathroom. I'll sit back on the bed, and I'll sit here for about like 6-10 minutes. I'll do like if I'm going to eat lunch, or, I do it a few times during the day. Now, it's not every day, because some days it just hurts really bad. Like the weather has really been like killing it. No joke. Even the day I was like, is it supposed to rain today? And he's like, no. I said, but what's the humidity? And he's like, oh, it says 98%. I'm like, well, heck yeah, that's what's going on. So I sit up several times a day. And then people were like, I'm very concerned that people think that they're my doctor, and I almost want to like go on there and be like, Dr. J, Dr. O, is this you? Like, because you're giving me this advice that you don't know my medical history or records or whatever. What the heck? And I don't tell you guys everything. I share a lot because we have a lot of common experiences, but I don't share everything with you. Regardless, I try. But I was like, people are giving you medical advice. No doctor would say you live there, sit there 24/7. I'm like, yeah, doctors prescribe bed rest all of the time. So I don't know what you people are talking about that a doctor would never recommend you lay there 24/7. But just to reiterate or to remind people that I am training myself to sit up because sitting up causes a lot of pain. Now I can sit up for 10 minutes and not 12. We found out Sunday. I still cannot sit up in bed for more than 2 or 3 minutes. It kills. And I'm afraid to keep trying that because that hurts so bad that I'm like, am I doing more damage? Like, that's what I have to consider. I wasn't properly diagnosed or treated. We're getting like mixed signals in the comments about how long it takes for a femur fracture to heal. I'm not 100% sure if I ever said that it was a hairline fracture or if Jim might have said it was a hairline fracture, but it wasn't described on the MRI as a hairline fracture. It was described as a fracture. So I'm not 100% sure like if that was something that I flubbed out once or if he flubbed out once, but it's the radiologist thinks it's a fracture. And then there's all this like how long it takes to heal a fracture. Well, that's great if it's set. If I am not letting it heal because every time I get up to go to the commode, I put my leg in the wrong position or my muscles go and pull the bones or ligaments in the wrong position. Like, this is all stuff that you have to think about when you think about how long it should be healed already. Well, no, if it was set and I never moved it, it would be healed already. But I move it all the time. It's not set. Like, it doesn't always heal properly. I mean, obviously it won't heal properly if it's not set, but it won't heal as fast if it's not set because these all tissue things need to line up and stuff. Anyhow, but we don't even know if that's what's causing the pain. I'm assuming it is because nothing like I've mentioned before, bone on bone doesn't just happen immediately. It doesn't happen overnight all of a sudden. And then, of course, because the gabapentin has helped the hip feel much better, but I still feel the pain all go through my thigh. So we're still waiting. Again, I'm going to call today, and I haven't called yet. I know that was another misunderstanding that I didn't call to make the appointment for Friday to get sedation and to do both MRIs. I have to call. I'm going to call after I vlog here today. So the hospital doesn't open for about another... Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 8 a.m.
So they're just opening now. So when I'm done vlogging, I'll call. And it's also not something I want to call first thing in the morning because everybody bombards first thing in the morning. But I do want to get there soon because if they do have that opening after my appointment. So I said to Lisa's like, tell them, and I'll tell you, it's, she was like, don't ask, tell them. And I said, well, hold on a second, because I don't want to demand double MRI with sedation, because if that makes my appointment not be on Friday, I don't care. Like, if they can't fit me in for both, or if they say, oh, we can't do sedation on Friday or at that place or whatever, I'm definitely going Friday to get this femur MRI'd. And if they can do the rest at the same time, then that would be great. Otherwise, nope. I'm just going to do it and get this one over with and go on from there type of thing. So it is very frustrating. I know I've mentioned it before, and I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but it is very frustrating. It's pain that I would like to have go away. it is not, it's a stat situation, but not an emergent situation. So stat is as soon as possible. Emergency is like right now. Right? Is that right? No, emergency is like yesterday. But my ER, I can't keep telling you guys how I'm not going to the ER in the hospital to get all this done because of lots of reasons. And I'm just going to say lots of reasons. The fact that I'm finally getting it done is really great. I have taken my laxatives and stool softener out of Thursday night, so that I won't have that in my system Friday morning. Lisa's like, no coffee on Friday morning. It's like, absolutely, thank you. I was like, all these things that would cause me to actually have like stomach issues. So she's like, none of that Friday morning. I was like, yeah, we got it. So, no extra fiber on Friday morning. Thanks. Yeah. So that's where we're at. I just wanted to share with you guys that whole little bit of an explanation where I'm at. Today's pain is a lot less than it was yesterday. Yesterday I didn't vlog. It was Labor Day. I took the day off. I was in a bit of pain yesterday, as I mentioned, when I sneezed. Wowzers. And then I sneezed a couple of times. The guy, we live next door to a field, and the guy cut the whole field's grass yesterday. And it was just like all of the filters and all the air conditionings in all the world still couldn't keep the crap out of our noses. So yesterday I was like, and every time I did, oh my goodness. The first time I just let it go, and then the second time I tried to hold it in and it made it like worse. I'm like, don't hold it in. The third time I just let it go again, and I was like, oh, that hurts too. You guys know, if you have a bad back and you sneeze, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to sneeze ever. Don't ever cause me to sneeze ever. But that's what it felt like. And then, so I hurt my hip stretching. I stretched on Saturday. Sunday, I rested the hip because it hurt. I think I vlogged on Sunday. That was the double vlog, was on Sunday. And then the way I sat up at the table actually really did help it. But what was I just going to say? I hurt the hip. The hip on Sunday. I folded the laundry. What was I just going to say? Oh, I hate this. Told you guys I hurt the hip. I rested the hip. It's gone. I'm sorry. I do want to say that I rested the hip on, like I used the hip on Sunday, like one of those things, like if you like don't know if it's hurt or you're just using muscles you didn't use before, so like you keep working them. So Sunday I kind of worked them some just to see if it wasn't, but Monday it was a lot. I just really rested Monday. It's just gone. I mean, it's just totally gone. It's just totally gone, and I thought I had something else, so forgive me. I'm sorry. Should you be a vlogger if you don't know what you're saying? It's just flow. It's natural. I just talk to you guys like I talk to my friends, my family. But thought comes in, comes out of my mouth. If I can't get it out of my mouth soon enough, it disappears in the void. Maybe not forever, but for now. Sorry, we don't get a lot of traffic here, and when you hear a car, you're like, which way are they turning? Let's see. I reviewed the drawer. Oh, that's why you guys, that's what I want to talk to you guys about. So the thing that holds the Ziploc bags in the drawers is going back for a couple of reasons. First reason is nowhere in its description, and I put this in the review. I wrote a review, Amazon X-Ray review. Nowhere in the description, I went back and read it, not one place does it say that you have to assemble it yourself. And I said, as of September 5th, 2021, nowhere on this description does it say you have to assemble it yourself. And for $38, it was $38 for me to put it together myself. The bamboo one, that's one solid thing, is it was $45.99. I think it's $48 now, but for $10 more, I'm going to get one that's solid bamboo instead of this crappy piece of like Dollar Tree DIY stuff. And plus, that particular one from another seller has just come down to $28. So like they know it's not worth $38. It's not worth $28. So I'm not like going to buy it cheaper just to have it cheaper. No. Because if it falls apart, it's not on them, it's on me. Right? Because I put it together. Plus, I think that's way too expensive for me to put it together. I think that $48 is too expensive for the bamboo one. I'm not going to lie. That's why I opted to this one, which I didn't know. I knew it was wood. I knew it wasn't bamboo. But I didn't know you had to put it together yourself. But I don't know that, like, I would pay $38 for the bamboo one if it comes down in price. I think the thing is, I saw it on TikTok with a very popular TikToker who does Amazon Amazon products you didn't know you needed. But when I saw that, I was like, we need that because we have a lot. We keep them in our Ziplocs in a drawer, and we have a lot of issues with the boxes in the drawers, and especially since we started buying them in bulk at Sam's Club, because we have a Sam's Club membership now, and they come in these huge boxes. So that's like a big thing. Like we, that type of thing. Let's see. Am I forgetting anything? Wanted to tell you about that. So that's going back. I think I'm going to discuss with my family and watch the bamboo one to see if it comes down. There is one cheaper, but then you have to pay the exact same amount of cheapness in shipping. So I have a Prime membership. I always click Prime to see if I can get free shipping on whatever item. But like, I don't understand. The item is $48 here, or it's $39.99 there with $9.99 shipping. So I'm like, I don't get that. Anywho, I will have more to report tomorrow. I am super grateful for each and every one of you, as you know. I don't know if everybody wants shout outs, but Mama Deb Beauty, Selena, and I just forgot it. Debbie begins with an S. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. Sorry, Debbie, but I think you know who you are. Were so gracious yesterday. They gave me my last few comments of the night, and I really did appreciate it. They really gave me words of encouragement that I didn't even realize that I needed at the time. And to be honest with you, when we were doing them and I was like, refresh the page, I was like, last one, and I refreshed the page, and then there were 3 more, and I was like, oh, 3 more, and then I read them, and I was like, oh, so glad I read them and refreshed the page, because it gave me such a new feeling before I fell asleep. So thank you all so much. You guys really have no idea what it means. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, you can look at the video that posted on Monday. Okay? So I love you guys as I end each video with, you know, the same thing because it is so true. If you haven't yet, you could subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell, and YouTube will let you know whenever I upload, which lately has been every day, but normally it's not. I think how often that I'm posting on the regular channel is the opposite. Like normally I post there 5, 6 days, and then I do 1 or 2 days here. But for right now, I can vlog. So I'm vlogging. Okay. All right. I love you guys. And as always, you take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.